Hi everyone. Today we traveled from Takayama to Kananzawa. And on the way, we stopped at the Shirakawa village, which is famous for having a bunch of thatched roof homes. Now, these used to be very prevalent in this area. There used to be 14,000 of them, and now only 1,400 remain. They're all listed as cultural heritage sites, so whoever owns these houses, they can't change them, they can't touch them, they can't do anything with them. They've got to keep them exactly as they are, and they're very expensive to maintain. But they are beautiful. And you can see the thatch roof. This little village, it's a population of 1,422 people. And before COVID, the annual number of visitors to this village is 2,151,000. And our guide said that the visitor numbers are almost up back to where they were in COVID. But from this shot, you can see just how thick the thatch is on these roofs. Now, fortunately, the government will pay for 90% of having the roofs replaced, and they need to be replaced every 30 to 40 years. So we learned a lot about the roofs. We also learned they get a lot of snow in this village, and they have this great warning sign because the roofs are so slanted, the snow just will apparently fall off and take out any unsuspecting tourists. One of the things we saw was this tree, which we thought was pretty interesting. It turns out that this is something they do for winter. They will run a pole up the trunk of the tree and with ropes coming down, and then they carefully tie the different branches off to protect the tree. And so that when the snow lands on the branches and it gets really heavy, the rope can help hold the branch up so it doesn't break. And keep that in mind because we're going to see this again later. It shows that they also have a bit of a sense of humor in this village, as we saw from this puppy that we was wandering around. And then we ended up at a liquor store, my favorite place. They had this lovely display of sakes. They also served sake ice cream that a bunch of us tried. And they also had coffee and these little kubuko coffee drinkers, which I thought were pretty funny. Now, the one big thing about this area is that there have been bear attacks. So there was this big, huge sign as we were going in, warning, watch out for the bears. And we didn't see any, so that was all fine. After we went to Shirakawa village, we started heading to a paper making class, and our guide, this is Oka-san, was telling us about drivers. Now, these two symbols that she's holding, if you are a senior driver, you are required to post the orange and yellow leaf in your car. And if you are a new driver, you have to post the yellow and green, both front and back of the car, so that everyone around you knows you're either a senior driver or a new driver, which is kind of an interesting concept. She was also saying that it is very expensive to get a license in Japan. Basically, you take your age and times 10,000 yen. So the older you are when you try to get your license, the more it costs, which is interesting. So anyway, we went to the washi. We learned about how to make washi, Japanese paper made from the mulberry tree. They call it rice paper, but it's not. It has nothing to do with rice. And we all got to make little postcards, which was kind of fascinating. And then, because it was a nice day and we had some sun, we decided that we would go to, in Kanazawa, the Kenrokuen Garden, which is one of the top 3 gardens in Japan. And this was one of the first trees we saw. It's this beautiful pine tree, very carefully sculpted. The big poles around the base are actually holding up the branches because the branches are so long that they would just break without the poles to hold it up. But it's very, very pretty. Sorry. And now this is like what they call the money shot. This is the big pond. There's a stone bridge nearby that you can see. And there's like 30 television cameras mounted on a pole that look over this view. And anytime you see this garden, this is the way they look in. And the water was very still. You can see the reflections. Unfortunately, it was getting toward dusk, so the colors don't pop very well in the picture, but it was very pretty. And it's supposed to have the 6 main things of the garden. It's got an abundance of water, it's got spaciousness, it's got also areas that are more closed in, it's got panoramic views, it basically has it all. And if you can see in this picture, kind of in the middle, there's a single pole sitting up with like a dark brown spot on top of it. That dark brown spot turned out to be a hawk. This is one of the poles with the ropes that's going to come down like we saw in that other tree. And these are the guys who were actually installing the pole. And our guide was actually really interested by this. She'd never seen this stage of the process. She'd only seen it after they'd installed the pole. So they carefully put the pole up the trunk of the tree and tie it carefully with these ropes. And then the ropes they're going to suspend down are in cables that come down. And they're going to spread those out. You can see these 3 are up there. And they just stay up there like that until about mid-November. And then they'll take the ropes, spread them out, and attach them to the branches for the winter. Now this fountain is interesting because it's entirely done through gravity. The pond that you saw before is up higher than this fountain. And the water runs down and then is forced back up all through gravity. It's really beautifully designed, as is most things in Japan. It was all, everywhere you looked, very peaceful. I said the reflections were beautiful, the stone paths. It was quite nice. And I'm really glad we went today. Tomorrow they're talking rain and clouds, so this was much better. Now this is the final picture. It is the only remaining gate to the castle. The castle that was here burned down. They never rebuilt it. This one is interesting that it's white, and the roofs are white because they're lined in lead. And the reason the shogun did that was because he was at war with other people, other shoguns, and he decided if it ever came down to it, could actually scrape the lead off a roof and make bullets. That's thinking ahead. Unfortunately, he didn't do anything about fire. So there you go. And that was our day. After that, we went to the hotel and we had a lovely French dinner. And then tomorrow we are heading out to explore Kananzawa. Okay, everybody. Bye.